Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to study the second chapter of Flamingo, that is the Lost Spring. It's a chapter, in fact, it's an extract from the book written by JUNG. And there are two stories that we are going to study. They are based on the same theme, and that theme is of child labor, one of the key problems faced throughout the world. It has been perceived that more hands means more money, more earning opportunities. But they forget that with every two hands, one stomach also comes in this world. And what happens after that? That's what is shown in these two stories. And that's the basic theme of this chapter. Coming to the title, The Lost Spring. Spring is one of the best seasons of a year. It comes with a lot of greenery, a lot of colors and fun, frolic and happiness. To compare it with life, childhood is one of the best years of one's life. But when this childhood is lost in poverty, in child labor, it can be termed as lost childhood. And the author has put it in so well manner by saying it lost spring. Let's start looking at the first story. This is a story about a boy, a ragpicker named Sahib-e-Alam, who doesn't know the meaning of his name also. Sahib-e-Alam literally means Lord of the Universe. But over here, he is found scrounging through the garbage, looking for things, collecting them to get some money for himself and his family. He moves in a group of boys. They have a plastic bag on their shoulders. They are bare feet. They wear tattered clothes and move around looking for things in the garbage. In fact, they look at garbage as a treasure, a hidden treasure, where they may come across a rupee note or a 10 rupee note, or sometime a silver coin also. And that's what is the driving force for them. For them, this garbage is wonder. They look at it with an opportunity. The author, JUNG, who is a social worker, who visits these kind of places for the upliftment of downtrodden. Once she comes across this group of children and initiates a talk with them. She asks them why they don't go to school. And they say there is no school in the vicinity. She asks, will you go if I start a school over here? They immediately respond affirmatively. The author feels a bit sad for asking this question because she didn't have an intention to start a school at all. She just asked for the sake of asking. Next time when they met, the children remembered about the school and they asked. She said no, it takes time to start a school, knowing very well that she was not intending to start a school. She felt regretting for having spoken these kind of words to them. And she notices them bare feet and she asks them, why don't you wear shoes? Then one of them says, my mother has kept it on the shelf. Another says, we don't have. Another says, this is a tradition. We move bare feet. And that's how the life is for them. At this juncture, the author remembers about a priest from Udupi, where she found the child of priest praying to God for shoes. And now after 20-30 years, when she revisited, she found that there was a next generation where the child was ready with uniform, with sparkling shoes, and ready to board a school bus to go to school. She finds that there is a marked change in their lifestyle. But for these children of Simapuri, the life is as it is. It's like they take birth, they live, they die. And this circle goes on without any changing. Sahib-e-Alam had told the author that they had come from Bangladesh, where they had a good amount of field where they used to grow crops, as was informed by his mother. But repeated storms and floods had destroyed their land and they could not have enough food to sustain themselves. In fact, they were starving. And this is how they migrated into India and found themselves stationed in the outskirts of Delhi, that is Simapuri. Simapuri and Delhi are in close proximity, but lifestyle-wise, they are miles apart. The lifestyle in Delhi is very good, rich with all lavishness, luxuries and everything. Whereas in Simapuri, it's just completely 180-degree opposite. They live in shanty town, small hutments, and they don't have proper sewage system or for that matter hygienic systems. They manage to live there. They have their voter card and a ration card which lets them get the money, food. That's what they are about. And they are not bothered about their identity being noticed or not. Why? As long as they are getting the food. Next time, when the author meets them, she finds Sahib standing outside a tennis club, looking at people playing tennis. She asks, "Do you like playing tennis?" He says, "I like, but then I can't." But the watchman is kind enough to let me in when everybody moves out so that I can have a feel of tennis court. She also finds him wearing shoe with a hole. And she says, "Oh, you are wearing shoes." Then he says, "Yes, some rich family child would have thrown them away because of the small hole in it, but it's fine with me as long as I covers my legs, feet." So here the irony is again brought forward. Whatever becomes useless for someone is a luxury for someone else. And this is how the life is going on over there. And one more time when the author comes there, she finds Sahib-e-Alam having a steel canister in his hand, moving very painstakingly towards the milk booth. She stops him and asks, and he says, "I have joined the tea stall where I get 2 meals and 800 rupees. But she notices that the usual carefreeness that he was having is missing. Though the plastic bag was heavier, he was happy. And this canister is lighter than that, but still he is moving very cautiously in a very painstaking manner. Why? Because now He is not his own boss. He is a laborer in a tea stall. And that's how the life is perceived in the Simapuri town. It is the story of ragpickers of Simapuri. Now let's move to the second story. This is a story stationed in Firozabad, the glass bangle making factory or the glass bangle making center of India, where you find glass bangles of variety of colors all over the places, being taken, being carried and all whatnot. Here, the dingy cells in what the people are living. They live in a cramped place, in a slum, and they perform the work of glass making in close proximity of naked fire and in a very dark and not properly ventilated places. It requires very good eyesight, and for that reason the children are engaged into that at a very young age. They perform the task meticulously. They are dominated and managed. They don't raise their hand, and that's why they don't raise their voice, and that's why it is easier to handle them. And this is how they are exploited. The children engaged at a very young age are into this work. They are like prone to this heat and glass dust. And by the time they reach their adult age, they already are suffering with eyesight problems. And sooner than later, their eyesight weakens and they become blind also. Here she meets a boy named Mukesh, who is in a lineage of glass bangle makers. His father is now rendered useless. Why? Because he has lost his eyesight. But as Mukesh says, he has been lucky to have a house constructed. And when the author wanted to see his hut, Mukesh was more than happy to guide her to his house. They passed through narrow, stinky lanes with sewage here and there, crowded with people, and they stopped in front of one badly made up house. The Mukesh knocks at the door and the wobbly door opens. They enter. It's very dark with a small window in one corner. And the author observes that Mukesh's elder brother's wife was cooking over there, and the place was full of smoke. She used to take care of Mukesh, her elder brother, her father-in-law and grandfather-in-law. This is how they were living. They considered, the grandmother said that this is all because of the karmas that we had in our past, that we have to undergo this lineage of working. People surrender to karma when they don't have any options. That's what is brought forward over here. The condition is so pathetic that the author feels very sorry for them. She asks them, why don't you people gather, form an association and demand for your rights? Then she gets to hear that the bureaucrats, the policemen, or those who are in power, they thrash them, they threaten them to push them into jail because child labor is illegal. If the children are sent into the jail, the earning opportunities will be lost. And that's why, fearing that, they keep their silence and let the things go on. They have entered into a vicious circle where generation after generation is pulled into this work. A child works, gets adult, loses his eyesight, the next generation enters, like similarly the next generation enters. And this is the vicious cycle they get into. Here, the problem is they are not courageous enough, and their poverty is not letting them to show their courage. This is something which is very pathetic in a country which wants to grow. So it's up to you and me, the educated and the learned ones, to do something for these downtrodden children such that they become an asset for the country rather than the liability. And the silver lining in this is Mukesh. He aspires to leave this work of bangle making and become a car mechanic. He wants to drive a car. He watches cars passing by and he wants to become a car mechanic. When the author asks, would you like to be a pilot? He says he knows his limits. His feet are firmly grounded on the floor. And he says, no, I want to become a mechanic. This is something which is going to take them out of the system, and this is the beginning. So if they get support, they have their dreams, they have their aspirations, and with little bit care, with little bit love, they can be brought out from these conditions. Thank you.